Okay, so I just got bumped out, but so back to, oh goodness, we're at the heavy part. So grief and how shock and grief are related. Okay, I gotta fix my screen. I don't know why it's shoot. It's just being weird. I don't know what this is. Okay, there's just a thing on the screen. Oh well. Okay, I think it's fine. I'm gonna keep going. Okay, sorry that it bumped you out. So back to grief. So shock and grief and how they're related. I don't know if I can just jump back into this one. This is pretty heavy. Also, Brian's working from home now, so. So basically, yeah, I don't know how to get back into this one. Shock and grief. I think for today, maybe I'll move on from that one and go to the next segment. Maybe I'll come back and I'll add a little component to that after I get present. So the next segment, the present, that's literally what this is. So we're just going to get present. We're going to take a deep breath and just become aware of the sights and the sounds all around your room. You can become aware of footsteps nearby. So you can become aware of sounds. You can become aware of color, distractions. And you just kind of take it all in. And I like to use my little 1-year-old trick sometimes if I'm trying to get present. I like to use the trick of, just take a deep breath. Pretend I'm 1 year old. One thing I didn't talk about before, but maybe I'll try right now. Let me show you. I have a tape. I have lots of tapes from some pretty awesome people. Don't forget to buy music on Bandcamp today if you can. All the proceeds are going to go to musicians. I'm going to try putting in a tape. Oh, it's already in there. So this is a tape by a friend of ours named Mike. And we're going to just put that on in the background too. I don't think Mike would mind. But if you like this music, I'm just going to put this on for a second. Partly because I'm feeling distracted. I've never done this show while someone's been home. And so I'm feeling feelings from that, like, just kind of self-consciousness. And so music can really help with that if you're really sensitive to your surroundings. Let's push play. Whoops, that's really loud. There. So, if you go online and you just search up like ambient, the word ambient, and you find musicians who record ambient music, it can be a really great way to kind of get in touch with. This one's a good one. Brian just bought this one for me. Where's the one I'm listening to right now? I don't see it. But yeah, you can just put some ambient music on in the background and just kind of let it be part of your presence-seeking experience. Now, for me, when I was at the music conservatory, they said that they believed that kids, especially like freshmen in college, not that those are kids, but it comes from being a kid, that we lose our ability to actively listen from being expected to listen so much in our lives. So when I was a freshman in college, even though I was very advanced musically and was playing in all these competitions and had just gotten into this music conservatory, I had kind of lost my ability to sit in what they would call like a convocation or a lecture. There were these big ones that they did. I went to Lawrence University. There's a music conservatory part, and there would be these big lectures, and they said that it was very common that the freshman class just often wasn't really listening. Oh, hi, Rachel. And so part of getting present, because we're on the Get Present segment right now, part of getting present is having an ability to actively listen, to be aware of everything in your surroundings. And so that's why I think a lot of people in the modern era are struggling with being present, being in your body, in your skin, in your mind, in your moment right now. And so what this conservatory would say is that, these 19-year-olds, 18, 19-year-olds were coming in having been talked to their whole lives. They've had to sit for 8 hours a day in a school setting and just listen. And they're like, I like to really give kids value, and I like to validate and value. Hold on, my charger. I'm grabbing my charger. I like to validate and value the truth of kids' experiences. And so if kids are having a hard time listening to you in school, to anything, like if listening is a struggle, it might be because they're oversaturated. Their bodies might be just kind of detaching from their minds, like they're not, I'm not even saying in a clinical way, just as in like they're having a hard time taking in as much as we're expecting them to take in. And so when I was a freshman in college, they were like, yeah, this is epidemic. You're all doing this. They just made a sweeping statement at this particular lecture. Like, none of you are really listening. You're not really listening to, the hour-long Beethoven piece that we just performed. You're not really listening to the through line of this 3-hour lecture. And I think that was true, or at least it was true for me. So I wasn't planning to bring this up today, but distractions, as kind of brought up in the reading earlier, things not going the way I think they're going to go is actually a thing that has created some of the most beautiful moments of my life. And so that's back to the book report on failure. Like, I feel sensitive right now because I know that Brian needs to make his lunch and he's working from home, and I'm like, and then I'm feeling things, and then I'm having a hard time getting present, and it's like, well, that's just that I'm feeling a lot and I'm thinking a lot and I'm expecting my body to just be a machine and just go through the motions, but that's not what life is. Like, we're trying to keep up. Like, our bodies are probably, and our minds are like supercomputers, and we're trying to keep up and process everything that's happening. So now I figured out, I'll come over to my little cassettes and put on some ambient music, and I'll show you for presence today, for the present. That's what this segment's called. Let me get my script. So for today's segment on being present, the present, why not show you that sometimes I can't get present? Sometimes it takes something extra, and I have to actively listen. So there's a lot to listen to right now, because I know Brian needs to make lunch. I'm listening to my own mind, my own feelings. I'm listening to this ambient music by our friend Mike Clifford. If you want to go support on Bandcamp, I'm going to put some links later on to independent musicians who you can pay money to support. Mike Clifford goes by There Are No Thieves in This Town. I didn't ask his permission before playing this, but it was an unexpected moment, so I hope he doesn't mind. I think it's changing. Oof, that was wild. I should put in a different one, or maybe I should save that for another day and move on to the next segment. I probably really should. Okay, pushing stop. Okay, so it says that then I would do original songwriting when I'm feeling it. I think today, since this is going on so long today, maybe this would be a good day to skip it. No, I'll still do it. So I'm going to give you a sort of live example of what it's like when I just make up a song. So come with me. Oh, this room is really a mess. Closing the door, dun, 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 making things up, and it's a show. Hi, if you're just getting here, welcome to my pretend show. My sister pointed out to me earlier today that she is watching it, and therefore it is a show. So that is true. These things are true. And all right, this is my script. I've been going since 11 because I tend to use a lot of words, and so I thought yesterday I called it a 45-minute show, and then I went for a little over an hour, and so then I went back and changed on the event pages that, oh, no, I need to call it an hour show, and so then I changed them all to an hour, and now I think I've been going for, I don't know, I'm trying to find it. I don't know what time it is right now. Anyway, so that's my life. I tend to ramble. But I love rambling, so I'm searching for a new filter too. So I'm going to play a song that I've never played before, using thoughts and feelings that, sorry, I'm talking and searching for a filter. Let's try this one. Play a song I've never played before, using thoughts and feelings that I don't know what I'm gonna have or say. I don't know anything about this moment. And that's what I love to do on YouTube. I do it all the time. Oops, there it goes. Oops. Hi, Amber. That's so sweet. Oh. Okay, so I got my little Casio. And I normally do this in the car, but you know, trying to stay home a lot these days and just keep everybody safe, keep some social distancing. And that's why this show is happening like years earlier than I meant to. And that's why I say it's not a real show, it's a pretend show. It's because I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I wasn't prepared to do this yet. I just kind of made a script and just started doing my idea years ahead of time without the right anything, resources to, I don't know. I don't know that I would be doing this any better by waiting longer though, and that's a truth of my life that this process is teaching me. So here we go. We're gonna make up a song. And by we, I mean me. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna try to go to my little introvert place. Same key as yesterday. Probably shouldn't say that. I don't know, I'm just feeling A major. What I do. I usually write like like 3 songs at a time, and they just kind of help me get in touch with what I'm actually thinking and feeling. I normally do them in my car, but that filter's cool. So the next segment is called Spiritual Stuff. I'm just going to stay here for that. Eventually I'll have cute little cards. Spiritual stuff. Just kidding. And I wrote down comfort and healing. And I think I wrote that down because the feeling your feelings part was on grief today. And I didn't finish. My show is a metaphor. So I didn't mean to be going on this long because my music lesson was really long today. And then, you know, my boyfriend works from home for the first time and has a lunch break, and I'm still doing my show. Oh, thanks, Federico. I agree. It's super fun. That's why I'm doing this on my personal Facebook, because these filters are better on this on my personal Facebook than on my music page's live option. For some reason, I don't know why the filters are better if I use this. Anyway, it was weird. Not weird. This is like a tiny microcosm of an example of what grief and shock are like for me, to come back to what I was talking about in the feeling your feelings section. I was talking about grief, and I was talking about how all grief has a component of shock to it at the outset. And grief is like a complex world of emotions. But all I really got into today was like the shock piece, and I was kind of describing how even things that we're expecting to lose, that we know we're going to lose, there's a shock element, you know. Even if it's a slow process, there's always that moment, there's some moment of shock, and that's why many of us, or all of us, we're walking around with some form of anxiety, whether it's conscious or not, because that's what life is. It's so fragile and tenuous, and we don't know when there's going to be some sort of shock, even if it's a tiny shock. And even if our grief comes from a series of tiny shocks, you know, it's still shock. And I wrote down that for this spiritual stuff component that I'm at, because I'm getting towards the end of the show today. It's very long today. I'm glad. I hope it's helpful. I wrote down comfort and healing, and that's what I wanted to talk about for spiritual stuff. And I think I talked a lot about that in yesterday's show, which is that you don't want to stay. So yesterday I sang my song Rabbit Hole, and I talked a lot about that, about how healing is a little like, sometimes like going into a rabbit hole, but I have to be very careful not to leave myself there. I have what some people might think is almost like a borderline mental illness. It's like a mental trick. Like I have an awareness now from so much experience of what it feels like to leave myself in rabbit holes, to leave myself down in the pain or the emotions of grief or of shock or of disappointment, which is I think what yesterday's was about. It's like being down in there, but in this metaphor, the rabbit hole isn't a comforting, safe place where rabbits live. It's a place where humans have gone down into and don't know how to get back to their home where they live. Like, it's not a positive thing in the song Rabbit Hole that I wrote. That's on the Tiny Traumas album if you want to listen to it. If you go to my Bandcamp, jessicaintherainbow.bandcamp.com, and you look for, you'll see all my CDs, and then you look for, it says, it's got a picture of clouds. It's like blue and white, and it's called Tiny Traumas Adding Up. Tons of other words. Anyway, Rabbit Hole is the second song on there. Or you could listen to it once I get these up, or you can listen to my live video from yesterday. I played it at the end of the show yesterday. But that aside, I don't believe we are meant to live in the rabbit holes. We're meant to try to comfort ourselves and pull ourselves out. And I talked about this yesterday too. So maybe I shouldn't talk about it again. This is how my shows get long. I keep repeating myself. Okay. But the point is, you don't want to leave yourself in those places. I think spiritual wisdom that I am trying to always work on, trying to attain, trying to learn from people who are wiser than me. That's like my main life trajectories. How can I learn from people who are wiser than me? And there is a wisdom in going towards comfort and healing. Like, you don't leave yourself in the grief. You don't, I did for a lot of my time. I put up walls and left myself in places that were knowingly to me very dark, very sad, very heavy. And I left myself in those places because I thought that was more authentic. This is how I used to think of it, how I used to think of healing, how I used to think of things like therapy. I would leave myself in those dark thoughts thinking I was being more real. But I know a lot of people who leave themselves in those dark places and then wonder why they're feeling depression or anxiety and why they can't get it under control. And it's because those if things feel diametrically opposed, it's because they probably are. So if you go into a dark place to try to understand the dark place, then the feelings you're going to feel are going to be dark and heavy and sad and overwhelmed. And so if you want something different than that, it's going to feel a little like mental illness. It's going to feel a little like mental manipulation. But if you want something different than that, you have to intentionally say, I'm going to seek out wisdom. I'm going to seek out healing. I'm going to read books like the ones I'm reading on this show. I'm going to find new ways to think about things, and I'm going to try to rewrite my brain. I'm going to try to pull up the landmines that make me keep falling down into those holes. And I'm going to try to, it's not even try. I'm not Yoda, but it's not even try. It's just, I'm going to do this. I'm going to consciously decide to do this. I'm going to decide, here's my choices. I'm going to decide. I don't know that it's up and down, left and right, who cares? But I'm going to decide to provide myself comfort. And the thing I shared yesterday, again, why my show keeps getting long, because I keep bringing up points from my old, my mind is very linear and it wants you to have all the things that are going on. But it's, no, it's not linear. It's trying to make something that's non-linear into something linear, which is words and talking. But for me, it's like a radiating, like I can see all of these things that are correlated and I want to share them with you, but I know I can't because they're all over. Comfort. Oh, it was a show I had just watched. It said something inside of it. I don't even remember the show, but someone brought up the idea that you're your own medicine. So you have the tools inside of you to comfort yourself. Like you know what activities are comforting to you. And so when you are trying to get out of those negative feelings, you just don't do what I used to do, which is let's go explore like a researcher the negative feelings. Don't do that. I mean, you can, but exploring negative feelings creates negative feelings. So this you are your own medicine idea is the opposite. It's saying, if I'm trying to get out of negative feelings, it's not try, it's just do. I mean, I'm not trying to be like Yoda. Like, I'm just saying it really is just do. You just do it. You know what activities are soothing. It won't like maybe immediately pull you out, but it might soothe you. It might comfort you. And over time, that might heal you. And that's what this part was about. So I could always talk forever about these things, but that's why I'm doing a weekdays daily show, is so that I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to break it up into smaller pieces, and yet I keep making each piece really long because this is all I think about. This is all the stuff I talk about. It's just kind of who I am. Okay, so your body and mind. That's, we're almost to the end. This segment, body and mind, your body and mind, is where I'm going to teach you a trick that I've been using for over a decade to get in touch with how I'm feeling in a moment. And it's just about the mind and the body connection and how we can become conscious of what we're feeling. So it's saying that I'm 20% battery. So I got to go back to the room where my charger is. Whew. All right, here we go. Thanks for being here. So, okay, I'm sitting in the doodle chair today for this moment. This was supposed to be designated just for doodles. Maybe I'll go sit somewhere else. I've normally been doing this in the feelings chair. I think I should do it in the feelings chair. No, I'll do it on my green couch. Okay. All right. Here we go. your body and mind. So this segment is about, I think I need a new filter. As much as I love this one, I need something a little less distracting. All right, that works. And I need to put the phone down. All right, oops. Well, this cord is not happy with me right now. Let's see if I can convince it to chill out. Okay, hi. So let's work with feelings. So for this segment, your body and mind. Your body and mind. This is like not a real show yet. Oh, my sister told me it is a real show. This is a real show because she's watching it. You're watching it right now. I mean, what I mean is I'm going to splice pieces together and then put it up on my YouTube and put graphics. I may never do that. I need to get more real about who I am. This may be the extent of me making a show. I may never do anything more organized than this. So it's a real show. But what I mean is, that's why I keep singing little things. I just have a script that I made myself, and then I'm imagining the moment. I'll make it up right now. Your body and mind. Hi, welcome to Your Body and Mind. This is where, I almost dropped my YouTube. This is where I'm going to talk to you about how I work with feelings in my skin. So each day I pick a feeling. I pick a body part that is feeling a lot. In the past, I have picked my heart. I have picked my forehead. On the first show, my forehead was feeling a lot. It was feeling really overwhelmed, probably by all the ideas and all the feelings collecting. On my dress rehearsal, it was my heart. So I think I was feeling really nervous. Yesterday, I think it was my heart again. Okay, so and you can do this with me. And you're just basically, what you do right now is you just kind of scan your own body with your mind. And just kind of pay attention. Is there a spot that's feeling kind of like off? Like that's distracting me from maybe what I would want to do with my time. And, feel free to say it in the comments if you want to. You don't have to. I don't like to force things to be interactive. I know some people love interactive stuff, but I get very distracted by it. So I am always welcoming of comments and interaction, but I will never encourage it, because if I encourage it, this show will just get 3 hours longer. Okay, but thank you for being here. Hi, Bridget. Hi, Tommy. Hi, Sean. All right. So I'm just checking my own body. Where am I feeling things? I'm feeling a little bit like the leftover moment of like drawing attention to my forehead, but I was feeling the top of my head. Like the top of my head was feeling kind of like, really intense. Let me check. Yep. Okay. So then what you do is you just kind of put a hand on the part of your body that's feeling kind of weird, kind of off, kind of different than usual. Maybe really energized or maybe really sad, like really empty of energy. And it doesn't matter which one. It's not about judging what it's feeling. It's about trying to intuit what that body part is trying to tell you, I guess you could say. I learned this from a therapist. It's like a trick. I don't know where that therapist got it from, but it does seem to work. It does involve active imagination, like being creative. I can't say all this while I'm touching it, but I mean I can. But so you're just kind of going into the part of your mind that isn't worried about how this appears. Because I never even thought I would say these things out loud. It was just a secret thing I did that I had learned in therapy. But now that I've been saying it out loud, people have told me it's helpful to learn this trick. So I pass it on. Whatever. All right. Here we go. I'm just going to do what I would do if I were alone. This is what I would do. Although it might be in a journal. I wouldn't necessarily say it out loud. I'd be feeling it and then writing it. Sometimes I don't even put my hand on it if I'm out in public. And I'm wanting to be in my journal, and I'm just checking in with body parts, and I'll just kind of scan through and think, like, what is my heart feeling right now, or what's my gut feeling right now? And I'll just kind of describe it. Sometimes I'm describing the physical sensation, but sometimes more often, for me, I use creative imagination around it. I like pretend it's talking to me. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I mean, it's embarrassing to say this because this show is going on so long and I'm already being so self-deprecating, but this part of my mind is telling me that it's overwhelmed with joy. it's like this part of my mind knows that I didn't want to do this show in a live style, that I would have preferred to just stay super introverted, because when I make my YouTube videos, it's just me and my phone, and I'm not aware of anyone watching, and I always say I don't care about the numbers, you know, like if anyone ever watches my YouTube videos, because it's just me. It's me and my phone, and this is very different from that. Like, I'm very aware that you're all watching, and I'm aware when people are coming and going. But I wasn't trying to make this negative, because that's not what this part is trying to say. Okay, hold on. It's just telling me, overwhelmed with joy, that I'm actually doing it. Doing something. No, doing it. Doing this. And that it feels really connected to people right now. Useful. Sharing, that sharing is useful. Usefulness. Just kind of those words are popping in my head as I feel what that intense, tingly feeling is. That's all. So I just kind of do that to be in touch with, you know, it saves me from making feelings into thoughts. I know I'm using words to describe it, but my own feeling is not just a thought. It's when we journal and we don't get in touch with our actual bodies, then we're not necessarily feeling our feelings, we're just thinking about our feelings. And as a person with a lot of trauma, that's dangerous for me. I used to sit in therapy sessions and just talk about my feelings without feeling anything, and I wouldn't even talk about the actual feelings I was having. Therapy's not a good model for me because I have a lot of trust issues, and so that's a whole other show. I don't have time to get into that because this show's been going on for so long. Now it's an hour and a half today. I need to like say that this show is 15 minutes and maybe then it'll be an hour. I might try that. Okay. Body and mind. I better move on. I could say more about this, but that's why I'm supposed to be doing this every day. Okay, and now song time. So now I'll play you a Jessica and the Rainbow song. And so I'm going to play a song that is a lot about the themes that I talked about today in the show. I think for today, I might not try to show my hands because it made the volume kind of, oh no, my audio, come with me. I had said today that in case my Facebook Live thing went off that I would record the audio for the whole show. But I guess I would have to like tape it to myself because I move around like 6 times in this show and I left it at the feelings chair. Okay, well, I'll have the audio for the song. I'm going to put it on this dog. So yesterday and the day before I showed you my piano hands while making this, but I think for today you're just going to see my face because it made the audio kind of funky. Oh, maybe I could put a weird filter on while playing piano. That might be cool. Yeah, let's try it. I really like this one. We'll come back to that. Okay. So, to go along with some of the themes, oh, I left my script over there. Let's see if I can remember. The themes have had to do with like grief, with failure, and then with like healing and comfort. But this song, it's called Explorers. It's on an album of mine that's from like a year and a half ago. The album is called Misfits. It's got a bird on it made by my friend Ryan Wyrick. And sorry, I just got really nervous. So today has just talked so much about failure and grief and shock and things not going the way you want them to go, and that's kind of what this song is about. It was written during the 365 songs in 365 days that I did a couple years ago. I wrote it over in a park/cemetery nearby. Mulligan's, no, not Mulligan's Hollow, Duncan's Woods. I'm in Grand Haven, Michigan. And the song, it's called Explorers. I play it at a lot of shows lately. But it's all about, maybe we're not supposed to be out conquering the world and doing. Maybe we're meant to be holding still. I don't know. It's a very complicated feeling song, so here you go. So that's the song moment. All that's left for today is to say goodbye and sing you my closing theme song, which is really a closing theme song from my kids' album. I always play it on ukulele, but I think I'll just stay here. And I feel bad that you didn't get to see any piano hands, especially on the fun part. Let me try unplugging this. It's not saying. Okay, so I'll try singing my my fake closing theme song, or my real closing theme song, but it was meant to be for something else. Oh, it only does the thing if you get it really close. Whoa. Okay, here you go. Well, maybe I'll just change the filter real quick. 1 second. Let's try this one. I don't think it'll work without my face in there. Nope, it needs a face. Okay, 1 second. I can't put that on my face and sing you the closing theme song. Maybe just like, let's try that one.